many be laughing at me every day. What can I go accept me? Yeah. I won't lolly laugh, not show me shake it. But I'm a sassy, I won't give up on 40 that baby. Yeah. Every level is another devil. Fighting the hustle, the tussle in your set people. What does it kill you, make you stronger? I make them work for everything.
The only independent voice of Liberia. No allegiance to any political party, organization, institution, or individual. Freedom FM 87.9. Your best.
I would not know if it's wrong, but one thing that I was not able to accomplish that I wanted to accomplish was after the war, the Liberian people elected me, and in fact, the Liberian people elected me to unite the country. I was not able to get some of the other factional leaders to return to Liberia. I was not able to get one or two of the political leaders to return. And I think they helped to provoke the situation. I was able to do a whole lot. Strangely, the LPC, these were all warring factions, and all of the other warring factions, I was able to bring them into government. In fact, most of the combatants that fought for the government during the war were the combatants of the warring factions that fought against me. So I accomplished bringing them together. I accomplished making sure that the issue of tribalism went away in Liberia. But I mean, to a great extent, I think most Liberians now, if you went to Liberia and took a poll, they would say Mr. Taylor did his best. Any other regrets? The second regret is that I was never able to get the United States to understand me. I was never able to get them to work with me, which is so essential for Liberia. No president of Liberia, no president can make it successfully unless he is online with Washington. Now, I'm not the type of guy that you can pick up a telephone and command. I don't take that. I didn't take that from Washington. Then, even if I were elected president, I would not take it. I'm not that guy. I'm not a coward. But I do believe that a good working relationship is essential for any president of Liberia, or that president will fail.
I'm filled with a profound sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president and commander-in-chief for the past 6 years. Together, in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia. And I am deeply thankful for the trust and support you have bestowed upon me and my administration during my tenure. As we navigate the complexity of governance, your partnership was instrumental in the development and implementation of policies and programs that aim to bring progress and development to our great nation. Reflecting on the accomplishment of these 6 years, let me tell you that I am proud of what we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilized the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, built hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieved on so many fronts that we are able to list here today. However, I acknowledge that there is always room for improvement, and perhaps more could have been done under different circumstances. Regrettably, some of the long-term projects we initiated did not reach completion during my tenure. I am hopeful that the incoming administration will carry the torch forward and bring these initiatives to fruition for the benefit of all Liberians. Fellow compatriots, rumors, and misinformation have played a large part in our politics over the last 6 years. It is my hope we as a country will overcome this challenge over the next 6 years. To begin this, we must start with the facts of the transition. I must report to you that we are leaving behind a better economy than we inherited. Today, President-elect Joseph Nyimabuaka will inherit a stronger economy than I inherited. There is a bigger net international reserve position than was handed me in 2018. I inherited 94,999,000 United States dollars in net international reserves. And I am handing over to the next administration a net international reserve position of 222,700,000 United States dollars. This is 136% increase in the net international reserve position. The total cash balance in the government's consolidated account is United States $40,044,365.90. In 2018, my government inherited a consolidated cash position of $7 million United States dollars. The next administration thus has more resources to deal with emergency macroeconomic challenges than my administration had at its disposal in 2018. My fellow citizens, through our time together, I held still fast to two cornerstones of leadership: keeping the peace and upholding the democratic process and the root of our democratic journey. I am immensely proud that during my tenure, Liberia remained at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbor. Our armed forces, the force of good, will never turn against our own people, and external actions were confined to international peacekeeping mission under the United Nations. This peace, sustained by our own domestic resources, is a testament to the maturity and strength of our nation. We protected the inalienable rights of every Liberian citizen as enshrined in our Constitution. Freedom of speech, assembly, and expression were not only preserved, but celebrated. There were no political prisoners or prisoners of conscience during my entire term, a testament to the development of strong democratic institutions that are now not only hailed as competent and professional, but as trusted and credible. Liberia is now regarded as a pillar of democracy.
To elect a clown and you think that he will be a king, what he does is to convert the kingdom into a circus. This is what we must deal with, and this is what we must say. Who do we elect into our public offices? Because, as I've said before, when you allow hyenas to take care of goats, why should you be surprised when the goats are eaten? This is the same. And Africa is only going to realize our potential in all areas when, by dint of choice, we enable and allow our best men and women to serve in different areas. I've heard it being said about Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. I've heard it being suggested about Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia. I've heard it being said about Japan. I've heard it being said about other countries, but there was a conscious decision on the part of those individuals and the followership. We always talk about leaders, but we never talk about the followers. The followers must also style up. Africans on average are for some reason attracted to thieves. Africans are for some reason attracted to men and women who cannot serve her. And when they are not served, then they complain. When Africans are told, choose you now whom we shall release, Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas, they say, release Barabbas. And when Barabbas behaves like Barabbas, they say, why are you not behaving like Christ? It cannot be done.
In May of 2001, signed a second of two executive orders, number 13213, Defense Exhibit D310, in which it was stated, and I quote, the government of Liberia's complicity in the RUF's illicit trade in diamonds and its other forms of support for the RUF are direct challenges to the United States foreign policy objectives in the region, as well as the rule-based international order that is critical to the peace and prosperity of the United States. Therefore, I find these actions by the government of Liberia contribute to the unusual and extraordinary threat to the foreign policy of the United States described in Executive Order 13194, with respect to which the President declared a national emergency. This executive order did not say the alleged complicity, it concluded the complicity. The conspiracy was born, all systems put into motion, and here I stand today. I never stood a chance.
This is the broader contextual matrix that regrettably did not and still has not seen the light of day in these proceedings, despite the gallant efforts by the defense to unearth and reveal the contextual framework behind the charges against me. Now, with the two executive orders, the dogs were let out, so to speak. What followed was a dispatch of the attack pack led by Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, Defense Intelligence, 30 years, prosecutor. He, Crane, unlawfully unsealed the court's sealed indictment to his handlers, senior U.S. government officials at the U.S. Embassy in Freetown, and was never held to account. The rest of the operational team are Colonel Brandon Hollis, Defense Intelligence, CIA, U.S. Air Force, Senior Trial Counsel, and now prosecutor. James C. Johnson, U.S. Army expert, 20 years on conventional and special operations, Chief of Prosecutions for the SCSL. Alan White, 30 years, Defense Intelligence, recalled from retirement to head up investigations at the Special Court of Sierra Leone. Stephen J. Rapp came on board as chief prosecutor for a short time of experience from Capitol Hill, where he served with the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee sometime before. It came as no surprise to me that as a reward of sorts for Stephen Rapp's diligence in the execution of U.S. foreign policy objectives through these ad hoc tribunals, he was appointed U.S. Ambassador at large for war crimes issues. In support of the contextual framework of politics, on February 8, 2006, Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, prosecutor, appeared before a U.S. Congress Subcommittee on Africa, Defense Exhibit D-404, and spelled out in clear terms the decision taken in support of regime change in Liberia and what needed to happen to solidify that process. There was little mention, if any, in his testimony about Sierra Leone. And here is what he said. I posit that 5 years from now, when the international community is challenged by other crises, Taylor in Calabar, under the protection of Nigeria, will make his move. We will wake up one morning and watch on CNN as Taylor rides triumphantly down the main street in Monrovia to the executive mansion, daring all of us to come and get him. Unless he is handed over to the special court for Sierra Leone, this scenario is not out of the realm of possibilities. He then asked, how do we assure Liberia's future? And he answers that. Ultimately, he says, what we do about Taylor in the next several weeks will determine the fate of Liberia and the new administration of its president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Crane then sets out several plans, two of which I'll state here. He said, first, hand Charles Taylor over to the special court for Sierra Leone for a fair trial, his kind of trial. This takes him out of the local and regional dynamics that is West Africa. Second, tie any financial and political support to good governance in Liberia. Time does not permit, but the exhibits are present. Not even the Nigerian nation was spared from threats and intimidation, as explained by Femi Kayode, press secretary to President Obasanjo, the Nigerian head of state, who was with him in Washington when President George W. Bush promised, and I quote, to bring Nigeria to its knees if Taylor was not turned over to the special court. And what happened? Obasanjo buckled and capitulated. Now, this demonstrates the significant pressure that was brought to bear on President Obasanjo, irrespective of his personal and leadership obligations to the West African sub-region. And therein lies the dilemma for current African heads of state and government, but how to enter into binding commitments and obligations with the African pairs and remain steadfast, resolute, and unyielding in their fidelity to those agreements in the face of such unrelenting and punishing pressure from powerful Western leaders.
Where you at? Where can we stop slipping? Whip your hands. Come on. I know that's slipping. I gotta whip my song, yeah? Okay, let's go. Yes, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Knock somebody near you to wake up if he or she is sleeping. It's time to talk hard, the hard issues, and the people connected to the hard issues. So invite others to join the show tonight. Share the show, allow the show to reach as many persons as possible. Politics is war without bloodshed, while war is politics with bloodshed. Yeah, I'm sure somebody did not get that. Politics is war without bloodshed, while war is politics with bloodshed. Mao Zedong, former Chinese leader. That was between 1893 upward to the 1970s, the mid 70s. Let me say very, very pleasant good evening to all of you across the country. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you in the diaspora. Our friends, our fans, our followers, our critics, and even those of you who do not like the things we say and the way we say them. It's good to have all of you joining us tonight on the Monday's edition of the show. This is Freedom Hard Talk. This is Freedom FM. This is 87.9. Just a lot to talk about today. Domestically, a lot to talk about. Globally, a lot to talk about. Too many things are happening with leadership, leadership, governance, and politics across the world. You go to the UK, there is a resignation of a deputy prime minister. You go to Paris, France, there is a vote of no confidence being cast in the prime minister, who is expected to officially turn in his resignation tomorrow, creating the space for Emmanuel Macron to appoint a stay prime minister. Just on 1 year, sorry. Making him the second prime minister to resign within the space of 9 months. Just within 9 months, 2 prime ministers have already been ousted at the parliament. But back here in Liberia, there are updates on different issues concerning our country. Today, tonight, we will place emphasis on this whole finance ministry thing. I did not want to talk about it, but I listened to a couple of quote-unquote clarifications being provided by the Minister of Finance today during his appearance on state radio. And I think he did not add up. The explanation did not add up. You see, in this country, we know we're noted for justifying stealing. We steal a lot in this country. We misapply, we misappropriate, and we justify. This is our problem, and this is the conversation that we should be having, all of us, behind the microphones, behind the pens, behind the cameras. These are things we should be highlighting. Officials will mismanage or misapply or refuse to account for something or their stewardship, and we go to the public and sit behind the microphones and justify our wrongdoings. We must call these people out. And that's what we'll do tonight to Minister Gaffwan. An error is an error. There should be no justification preceding the commission of an error. We admit and we fix the problems instead of justifying the problems or our mistakes. So yes, we will spend some time in the Ministry of Finance tonight. The government, the UP force criticized of budget spending. Today, the Minister of Finance is telling us he is spending money off budget. He's going to handle the UR problems. They will handle it, but they will be off budget spending. It is right now today because It is them. This country ain't going nowhere, I can always tell you. So Joe Biden said the people let it cost too much, that President said he was responding to. Remember I told you Eddie was responding to Joe Biden and his government officials? So when you hear Joe Biden complaining, oh, the people can insult, that President said he was responding to. Don't get carried. He's not talking to us because he knows that Yeke will cause him for him to become president. He knows that Prophet Key was insulting people for him to become president. And he said, well, that Prophet Key is still insulting for him to protect him or defend him as president. So the president was actually responding to President Sirleaf's expression on the OKFM. The crisis is deepening in Nimba. Jeremiah Kun, Samuel Koga. We told you all Kun had gone to beg the elders, right? They have a piece. Jeremiah Kun's, Samuel Koga's political officer. He has issued a statement. We're going to read for you that statement. We told you everything we say here, the people themselves will come out to confirm it. Oh yes, we'll provide you update on the Capitol building arson case. The lawyers representing Funati Kofa and the rest of the other folks have filed a motion to requesting an independent medical examination on the defendants, some of the defendants, Tom Etheridge and the rest of the other guys who alleged that they were tortured by state security. We also have an interesting audio recording here from Arthur Johnson, one of the lawyers representing for Fonanti and the rest of the other folks, Dixon Sibo, Abu Kamara, Jacob Debbie, all representatives of Maserado, Grand Jida, and Grand Crew counties. So you see, we have a lot to talk about. There is this news that the CSA director, out of pressure, had to return the payroll of the House of Representatives today back to the Speaker. The man will tell you why. Why did the CSA boss return the payroll of the House of Representatives? Like we said, this is the size and shape of the show. Don't go away. Stay tuned. Stick and stay with us. This show is proudly sponsored by Camp Stepper Liberia. And it is in partnership with Wayne Liberia, our financial partner. We are doing Wese Wasa. $50 Liberian you need to have on your mobile money account to play our cash giveaway. Just $50 Liberian and you are qualified to play our cash giveaway. All you have to do, just make sure you dial *255*1#. That's the short code to play our cash giveaway. *255*#. Sorry, *255*1#. And then you'll see the two options will appear before you. Option number one will be asking you to play in Liberian dollars, and option number two will be asking you to play in US dollars. Just $50 Liberian or 25 cents you need. We take a break from our sponsors and our sponsor and our partner. When we come back, we run into our different discussion, including recognizing and welcoming all of you who are joining us tonight. Share the show and invite others to join the show.
Brother God can bless anybody.
Win big today with Win Liberia on Freedom FM. Yes, for just $100 Liberian or 50 cents United States dollars. You can win from $4,000 Liberian up to $10,000 Liberian, and for $200 Liberian or $1 United States dollar on Japa days, you can win from $15,000 Liberian, $50,000 Liberian, $100,000 Liberian, and up to $1 million Liberian. For these amazing prizes, dial *255*1#. Again, dial *255*1#. The more you play, the better your chances. It's Win Liberia Cash Giveaway on Freedom FM.
And you walk with it through and bring the rubber. And tell me so many know. crimes in many places, in every community, you can see. So if you see crime, report it. Don't tell law in your hands or your authority. That it can't take your law in. Crime stopper here for us. We need safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor. If you see a you must talk enemy, you check. Do it for safety. If you see a don't keep it. You must call to report it. Stop the people bringing safety to your door. Stop it, crime and make it easier than before. Stop Liberia from the center to interior. Keeping us safe, let's stop it, crime for all of us. Stop the people bringing safety to your door. Stop it, crime and make it easier than before. Stop Liberia.
Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, old man Sam Sion.
Stop it, crime and make it easier than before. Stop Liberia from the center to interior. Let's stop it, crime for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is your community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, old man Sam Sion.
Thank you, old man Sam Sion and your team at Crime Stopper Liberia. And so family from Broadview, welcome to the show. Oliver Che is also joining the show tonight from Grand Jida County. She Love General. Welcome to the show from Claratown. Ruben Kane is joining tonight. Bukari Sharif has joined us from New Kutan. David Williams from Colorado in the U.S. Clady Addison, welcome to the show. The weekend was okay. Trust me, it was okay. William Wulu, welcome to the show tonight. He's joining us from where? Is that Uppercut where? Mumu Kiadi has joined us tonight from Great Cape Mount County. Agatha Glasgow is following the show tonight from Tinkers Village. Antoinette Anderson has joined us tonight as well. Let's see who are the others. Nito Jebadia is joining us tonight from Sano County, particularly Greenville City. Frida Davis is joining the show tonight. Thank you, Frida. Verma McIntosh Kla is joining the show tonight from Norway. Patricia Taru has also joined us tonight from Broadview. Daniel Nimason Davis is second, is joining the show tonight from China. May you hang out unfinished business, Daniel? You gotta hit me up. King Sergio Wisse is joining the show tonight from Broadview as well. Benu Kamara is following the show tonight as well. Paye Joshua has joined us tonight from GSA Road. David Wisse is following the show tonight from Doe Community. Stephen Yagadi is joining us from Lower Margiri County. Frederick Soliu Jr. has joined us tonight from Greenville. Yakub Amara Kone, welcome to the show from LPRC Junction. George Watkins Jr. It's been a while. I've not seen you yet. Welcome back, George. From District number 13, Nehemiah Snare is also joining the show tonight. Anna Taylor from Michigan, welcome to the show. Mawata Ability. David Ray is also following tonight from Harper City. Joseph Yampu is joining the show tonight. Kindness Candy is following tonight. Kindness, you have to remind me about that thing we talk about before I forget. I've already forgotten the date. So please don't forget to remind me. I remember the conversation, but I don't remember the date. Before I forget, I will disappoint you. Hassan Asumana Kumar is joining the show tonight. Jerry Singh Tupa has also joined the show from Johnsonville. Victoria Allen Vivian Queen is following tonight. Water Bowman, welcome to the show. Water, I've not seen you here for a while as well. But welcome back. Timothy LTA, Alex Flan is joining tonight from Greenville City, Sano County. Joseph Cordy is joining the show tonight. Christopher Siaka from Minnesota. I want to talk something about let me forget about the Baby tonight. Yeah. And focus on talking the high issues. Mark Woolley is also following the show tonight from Maryland County. No, not Maryland, yes. From Bocon. Bougon Gili, Sano County. Joseph Yemplu, yes, we say we welcome you. Samuel Ladd Cooper has joined us tonight from Calway. Ambassador Joel Ina Cooper II from Barnesville Estate. Welcome all of you to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome all of you. It's good to have all of you join us tonight. A lot to talk about, and we have to make sure we exhaust all of these issues because the weekend was really exhaustive. It was tiring, but it was intriguing. A lot of things happened that prepare us for today, that placed us in the position to set the stage for the hard conversations tonight. And so that's why we're here, and we are here to to engage our oppressors. We should never give up. We should never get tired. Giving up should not be an option for us. Getting tired or weary should never be an issue for us, because we know the weight of the work we do. We know the weight that is on our shoulders. We know the taste that all of you bring to these different platforms here, and so we are on an obligation. We should place ourselves on an obligation to do your job. We are working for you. We are your employees. Those of you listening to us, watching us, we are working for you. We are your employees. So we take instruction from you. We take advice from you. We take cautions from you. We consider your alerts or your observations or your recommendations, and that's why we're here. That's why the platform is one of the biggest in the country. Since we started this platform, so we are on an obligation to maintain and expand the platform to a bigger and a wider audience, which is on a slow pace, but we are getting there because it takes some resources, especially financial and material resources, to get there. So, but just us, we will get there. But we have to fix this country. So this is what the BBC. Let's talk some. Okay, I have to play this. But y'all wait for me small. More videos coming to me from Samuel Koga. The man is not allowing Jeremiah Kun to breathe. And so so let me just put this here and then go back to what the BBC is reporting from Paris today. So the BBC is reporting France plunged into new crisis after Prime Minister's vote to oust. After Member of Parliament's vote to oust Prime Minister. France has been plunged into a new political crisis with the defeat of Prime Minister Francois Bayrou at the confidence vote in the National Assembly. The defeat by 364 votes to 196. That's how low the popularity has dropped. It means that Bayrou will tomorrow present his government's resignation to President Macron, who must now decide how to replace him. Macron's office said this will happen in the coming days. Unquote. France is thus en route to getting its fifth prime minister in less than 2 years. A dismal record that underscores the draft and disenchantment that have marked President Macron's second term. Bayrou's fall came after he stuck his government on an emergency confidence debate centered on the question of French debt. He spent the summer in speeches, interviews, and social media posts. warning of existential threat to France if it did not start to tackle its 3.4 trillion euro liability. 3.4 trillion euro liability. And I was watching BBC just this morning before coming to town. They were like, and I was watching his presentation in the parliament. He was consistent. He was fixed. He remained bent on his policy, his decision to push for court on major fronts in the French government. But they're very struggling to have their budget passed because they don't have the majority in the parliament. So they've been struggling to have that budget passed. The proposal he did, the proposed cuts, the parliament have refused to pass it. So they've been going back and forth. Now that the vote of no confidence has been cast in him, it means the government is like temporarily shut down until a new prime minister is appointed or elected, depending on how President Macron who prefer the selection of a new or the replacement of a new prime minister. So yes, let's move on to other local news on today. We received a lot of calls and messages that the CSA boss, Josiah Joka was returning the House of Representatives payroll on several grounds, but particularly it is being speculated and with sources highly reliable in the neighborhood of the CSA have also confided in us that Josiah became so angry and exhausted with the multiple recommendations from the Speaker's office to include names or to have names included on the House of Representatives payroll, even when they were updating the payroll and trying to integrate the payroll into the CSA or into the civil service metrics. And today will pass, according to our insiders, after 1 or 2 days, the speaker will send 5 names. They will add 5 names. After 7 days, the speaker will send 10 names. Because the way it works, I told you here, right? I told you that was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I told you that the CSA would not be able to catch difficulty. We experience difficulties with the legislature in having the legislature's payroll integrated into the CSA system. I told you because, and I said the reason is because our payroll is a political base. That the House agreeing to allow the payroll get integrated into the CSA system was going to be a big political boost for the CSA and the central government, but it was going to be a huge takeaway from the legislature. Why? Because most of those, all of those lawmakers you see, all of those 73 representatives have at least 2 to 3 persons in central administration. They all recommend 2 persons, 3 persons, some 5 persons, some 10 persons, some 11 persons. They recommend to central administration, and the speaker is under obligation to accommodate. They call it political accommodation. The speaker has to accommodate them politically. So just imagine all the lawmakers recommending at least 2 persons. It means 72 persons to a lawmaker. That's huge. That's almost 150, a little over that. That's huge. So that's just a minimum. Meaning that is if each lawmaker recommends 2 persons each, it means we're talking 146 around there. 146 persons. That's what we're talking to the payroll. But there are people who recommended 10 persons. There are some who recommended 5. There are some who recommended 7 persons. So all these people are piling up the payroll, and it is not being done in unison. So it angered the CSA boss, and he said, you can't for that damn payroll you're carrying. Unquote. They said that why he said, you can't take that damn payroll you're carrying. That's what he said. So individual sources close to him say, my man, that put it at 10 payroll and carry. And that's how he returned the House of Representatives payroll today. So they will solve their issues. Those are some of the issues that they allege against Fonanti. Fonanti taking people and employing people on the payroll. Fonanti taking people and employing people on the payroll, as if to say the people Fonanti was employing on the payroll were the people that whether they were not or Liberians. Whether they were not Liberians. Those are the issues, right? Those are the issues that were raised by Richard Kuhn and his likes. That Fonanti is employing people on the payroll. They see Josiah Jokamel raise the issue, went publicly to make a press conference and allege that Fonanti was increasing employing people on the payroll, pardoning the payroll pardoning. They accuse him of it. Today, the regime speaker is in power, is in charge, and CSA is also having worst problem with him for pardoning the payroll. So when we told you that the crisis, at least the entire country now has agreed that the crisis in the legislature or in the house was never about Fonanti. It was never about good governance. It was about bad governance. They wanted to continue their misrule, their reckless dealings and their reckless, careless administrative practices in the house. That's why they did not want Fonanti. See what's happening today? Their own people are complaining about payroll partly, and they are retaining the payroll and all of that to the house. So Liberians now are beginning to see the realities, the truth behind Fonanti removal. These are the things that Fonanti did not want to happen. Because I am aware how lawmakers complain that just imagine two names are sent to Fonanti. I was saying, Maviko can put the two people on payroll besides their staff, besides their 11, 12, or 13 staff, depending on your position. Those are some of the issues. My man, imagine since I came here, I recommended 2 persons to be employed central administration. Maviko can employ the people. They are an issue. So today, Richard Kuhn is compelled to employ those people. Even if Richard Kuhn knows that it is wrong, he has to do it. If he does not do it, they are going to remove him again. So this is the circular challenge or problem with our governance process. It's just a cycle. Anybody who comes in and tries to change it, they go after you. And especially so when they have the political backing of the president, they go after you. Hence, the current situation. So you need to know that the people have returned the payroll. So this is where we are. Also, you need to also know that the legislature, the House and the Senate have rejected, they have refused the GAC to go in there and audit. That one, it is confirmed. I can confirm that to you that they have rejected the GAC going in that place to audit that place. The very audit that they said Fonanti was rejecting. Today, they are not just rejecting, they have canceled, they have refused. GAC folks said they needed office space in the place there to conduct the audit. Fonanti did not want to create office space. Fonanti is out, all his people are also out. Where is the office space that Richard Kuhn has created in the legislature for the GAC people to go and sit down there and audit the legislature? Let me repeat, the day he say Richard Kuhn has agreed for the GAC to audit that legislature, you will not hear my voice on radio again. Any people got 3 more years plus, right, to be in power. They give them 4 years. They got 4 years to be in power, right? Okay. I'm saying to you, even if in 2028, Richard Kuhn called GAC folks in a place to audit that house, you will not hear my voice on radio as a talk show host. They will not audit that place. They will not renovate the elevator. They will not carry running water in our house. They will not carry stable electricity in our place. They will not allow that building to be fully lighted up at night. They will not do these things. When you pass around Capitol Building, you see the light, the place. The lighting system is redone. Everything lights are there 24 hours, especially during the night time, and that they have running water fully in all of the bathrooms, well kept, and that the elevator in our place is renovated or changed or replaced, and that GSC is in a place and GSC is in a place to order the place. The day you start hearing these things happening, just know say Jesus Christ is coming. Until that kingdom come, these things will not happen in that building. Y'all watch the show. So that's the place. That's the house for you. So if you thought you had a government, you don't have any government. You don't have anything. You have a group of corrupt and useless and irresponsible people in that house. That is not a place you, Liberians, should depend on and say change is coming. That place cannot give you change. That place cannot give you reform. That place cannot transform your living condition. That place called the legislature cannot transform your lives. That place called the legislature cannot transform your country. That place called the legislature cannot develop your country. That place called the legislature cannot take decision to grow you from where you are to a middle class. That place is as useless as the dump site on Center Street. It will never promote your interest. They will promote their selfish interest any day, not your interest. Not your interest. They will pass budget in, budget out. The budget will not reflect our challenges. The budget will not target our challenges, the challenges we face, whether it's in infrastructure, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in information technology, whether it's in education, whether it's in health. Our budget will never target the challenges we face. Never. Some people wasting your time. Some of you, those of you who are wasting your time and depending on the legislature to help you, to help this country, no, it's a mess. It's a complete trash. I say it's a mess. It's as messy as Center Street graveyard. It's a mess. Don't depend on that place or anything. So that's the way the people. So let's give you some update on the Capitol building thing, and then we can move on to our discussions. So the Capitol building people, they say what today? I want to play you this recording from Arthur Johnson. Okay, this is it. But before I play you this recording, let me read what is so this the People's TV is reporting that defense lawyers representing 6 men accused in the high-profile arson case have filed a motion before the First Judicial Circuit Criminal Court A requesting an independent medical examination for their clients. The motion stems from serious allegations of torture and sexual abuse allegedly committed by state security officers. The defendants, Christian Kofa, John Yanti, Eric Susi, Thomas Isaac, Thomas Edridge, and Stephen Brough, are facing multiple charges, including arson, criminal conspiracy, attempted murder. Stop calling me. Blah, blah, blah. In a motion submitted to the court, which is presided over by Judge Roosevelt Whaley, defense lawyers from the International Law Group assert that their clients were subjected to extreme physical abuse by agents of the National Security Agency, the NSA, and the Liberia National Police, the LNP. The alleged abuse reportedly took place at NSA headquarters shortly after the defendants were taken into custody. According to the motion, the defendants endured beatings, water torture, and exposure to bright lights, which they claim resulted in blurred vision, painful urination, and symptoms resembling urinary tract infection. The motion also suggests a possible acts of sodomy. Those specific details were not disclosed. Defense counsel argued that unless the defendants receive immediate independent medical attention, their health could deteriorate rapidly and potentially lead to fatal consequences. They questioned the impartiality of John F. Kennedy Medical Center, the government-run hospital, citing a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Justice as a potential conflict of interest. According to the motion, the agreement may incentivize the hospital to produce medical reports favorable to the prosecution. The motion is driven solely by humanitarian concerns and not legal strategy. The defense team emphasized citing violations of the defendant's constitutional rights as enshrined in Liberia's 1986 constitution. So that's it. That's it. Let's play you this. Listen to Arthur Johnson, Councillor Arthur Johnson. Listen to him. An interesting piece. Okay, so yes, let's listen to Arthur Johnson.
How are evidence in the court that has trial jurisdiction? And so the court that has the trial jurisdiction is criminal code A. And the key questions that we raise regarding the case is that you actually you're not waiting for me to submit. That's why I'm trying to give you the information. This code is a proper code because it's the code that has trial authority. And you always find out when there is an indictment that is being served on the card. So after the indictment, there's something we call discovery. The discovery is where you ask the court to compare the prosecution under the doctrine of notice to turn over all the evidence that the government has against the crime. So when they do that, they turn the evidence over to you. You look at the evidence, analyze the evidence, and if you have any reason to question the evidence, that is the stage. So that is the trial procedure. Now, so you ask, what did we say and what did we really ask for today before the court? The evidence that the prosecution turned over to us speak that the extraction of the evidence from the defendants, meaning the cell phones information that they took from the defendants, that they said they used to have evidence against the defendant. They extracted those evidence without a search warrant on December 20th, when they turned over the case to the National Security Agency, the NSA. The NSA was the one that conducted the forensic analysis of the evidence on December 20, 2024. And then, looking at these defects, they knew that they were procedural defects that would be questioned at the level of the trial. So on January 9, 2025, after 1 month, then they went and asked for a search and seizure to say that the evidence were collected on January 9, when in fact they have already collected the evidence and seized the evidence on December 20th. So when you do that illegally, because without a search warrant, without an application to the court requesting for the search warrant, then the evidence is faulty. So when you hear we're saying that the evidence is faulty, and all of the other evidence that came as a result of that illegal conduct carried out by the NSA and the police must be suppressed, meaning it can't be used against them. That is our.
So that's another side of this case that you need to know. And I thought it was important I will play you this recording. I thought it was important to play you this recording. And in 2 minutes, let me summarize in a more simple or simplistic form, so you understand what the argument actually is. But while we're doing that, so that we announce to you our cash payout tonight. To those of you sending me text about the cash, yes, the promo is on. So we're paying $5,000 tonight to each of our winners. So all you have to do, just make sure you have $50 Liberian on your mobile money account, or its equivalent in US dollars is 25 cents. Well, if you have that on your account, you are qualified to play our cash giveaway. Now, the short code *255*1#. Again, the short code is *255*1#. That's the short code. When you dial that short code, you enter two options will appear on your phone screen. Option number 1 will be asking you whether you want to play in Liberian dollars, and option number 2 will be asking you whether you want to play in US dollars. Whichever option you select, you will send, and then you enter your mobile money password. That's it. So yes, you can. Your friends are already playing, so you can be playing while we're talking. So in five minutes, I'll say. So this is what it's saying. They have requested they have filed a motion for discovery, meaning the defense lawyers or Funantine lawyers have requested the evidence that the government lawyers say they have. That's what they call discovery. But they are scheduling the case, and the government lawyers had not released or submitted the evidence that the government said they have against Funantine them. That compelled the lawyers, Funantine lawyers, to file a motion for discovery, to compel the government lawyers to turn over what they have as evidence against them, for them to review the evidence, to go and prepare their argument or their response to the evidence that the government said they have against them. Now, fast forward, you know that the evidence already was submitted one day. You got less than 24 hours prior to the start of the case, 7 o'clock in the night, at the law firm of Councilor Wilkins, right? You know all of that already. So when the Funantine lawyers received the evidence from the government, they went to review the evidence. While reviewing the evidence, they realized that there were contradictions, there were suspicions and all of that, and there were some irregularities. For example, they realized that, according to them, the National Security Agency made some arrests and entered into the homes of some of the suspects on December 20th, 2024. According to the lawyers, the defense lawyers or Funantine lawyers, the NSA had gone to the homes of some people, some of the suspects, and extracted information from their phones or from them. They were arrested, taken to unknown locations according to Eric Susan, and they were tortured, they were beaten. According to them, they were tortured, they were beaten, and their phones were requested for or demanded from them, and they were made to enter their passwords with all their consent, honor, duress, and all of that. And so, and then by that, the government extracted information from their phones. According to Arthur Johnson, what Arthur Johnson is saying, that process that the government used or the state security used to extract evidence from their phone, that process is faulty. It's illegal. Evidence acquired under such manner cannot be adduced or admissible in the court, because you took the man. The accused cannot provide evidence against himself. In this case, the government allegedly or reportedly coerced, tortured, intimidated the suspects to provide evidence against themselves. So the lawyers are arguing that under our jurisdiction, these materials cannot be used in court to find somebody, hold somebody guilty of committing any crime. That's the first. That's one argument. The second point, the second argument they're making is that the security officer, some of the investigations that were conducted, that the NSA did not have the authority to conduct those investigations, for example, criminal investigation in the case of ASO. So they argue that the NSA did investigation. They arrested people, they kept people there at their place, at their headquarters, they investigated them. And on the basis of their investigation, the police they were charged. Arthur Johnson and the other lawyers are arguing that the NSA does not have any legal authority to conduct criminal investigation, especially in the case of ASO. Their responsibility is to spy on behalf of the country. And if they spy and they believe that they get any evidence against somebody, they turn it over to the appropriate security authority to investigate them. But instead of spying for the country or running intelligence for the country, they went ahead to investigate a criminal matter, which, according to the lawyers, the NSA does not have that jurisdiction. So all of those investigations that took place and they got and evidence were extracted, the lawyers are saying no, suppress this evidence because they were illegally acquired. Suppress the evidence, meaning you can use the evidence in court. So just trash it, throw it out. That's what Arthur Johnson is saying here. Now, the third point that you need to know is that the lawyers also, while reviewing the evidence, establish that investigation, search, and seizure have already taken place on the 20th of December in 2024. Meaning, when the incident happened last year, the state security went to people's homes, arrested people, searched their homes, seized their phones, and took them to their different places on the 20th of December without a court warrant or court order. When they completed their investigation, they finished intimidating the people, harassing them, extracting information from their phones. Then they went to the court on the 9th of January in 2025, 1 month after, to acquire search and seizure warrant from the court, because they wanted to use the search and seizure warrant to cover up for the mistake or the reckless action they are already taking, they are already done, carry out. So they went and performed the action, the search and seizure in December, on the 20th of December. Then they went to the court in January and asked them for search and seizure. So you get the point? So that's one. So the lawyers are saying, no, this is insincerity. You can't go search and seize people properties, seize people my gadgets and everything. Then in December and then in January you run to the court and get search and seizure. No. In an argument, you are supposed to obtain search and seizure before going to somebody's home to search and seize their property, because everything that was searched, all the properties that were searched and seized, those who did it did not have authority from the court. So anything extracted from those properties that were seized cannot be used in court, because they were illegally seized, they were illegally acquired, and the homes that were searched, if there were anything extracted from those homes that were submitted as evidence, cannot be used because they were not legally acquired. That's the point. So that's the argument the lawyers are pushing. The lawyers are also saying, hey, JFK is a government hospital on the motion for independent examination, medical examination. The lawyers are saying, hey, the Ministry of Justice and the John F. Kennedy Medical Center got agreement. JFK is government, and the case is a government case. It is the government that is prosecuting these private citizens who are politicians anyway. And so the JFK cannot be a government entity. The government is prosecuting these politicians in a political trial. Then you send these people who are workers or employees of the politicians to go to the government hospital to do medical examination to know whether they were tortured, whether they were beaten, and all of that. The defense lawyers are saying no. We need an independent medical examination on these people. So we can't go JFK. Our clients cannot go JFK. JFK is already compromised. The wives down there, you have the wives of presidential appointees working down there. Josiah Joka, for example, his wife is the director of nursing at JFK. You want to send anti-government suspects, anti-government indictees at JFK, where you have the wives and family members of presidential appointees working at JFK to conduct medical examination. Conflict of interest. That's conflict of interest. By extension, the JFK as a government-run entity is already compromised. It's already a party to the case, especially so when they already have arrangements with the Ministry of Justice. So let's go do an independent medical examination. We will hire an independent medical examiner, which from any institution to come in and do the independent examination on these people. If possible, we won't do it in the public, on camera. So that's the motion before the judge. We're waiting for the ruling from the judge, because the judge is also, mind you, there's a motion to suppress the evidence that I just spoke about. But the judge is saying before he rule on that motion to suppress the evidence, he wants the medical examination to be conducted on the suspects or the indictees, which will inform his decision. So it is obvious. Once it is the medical examination prove that these guys were tortured, meaning they have bruises on them, all of that, and what have you, and that the test is conducted, and you will see that people private parts are not in good standing and all of that, that could inform the judge's decision to rule to suppress or admit the evidence or uphold the evidence in the case. Again, I will always conclude by saying to you, Judge Roosevelt Wade should not be trusted. I will always say to you, Judge Roosevelt Wade should not be trusted because he works for the government. He's in the pockets of Joe Barker. He's taking instruction from Joe Barker, and Barker is pacing on him every day. So he's nobody to be respected. Don't see him working with beer all around, but not a responsible man. You think he's independent? No, he's not independent. He's compromised, and it's a political case. Any decision can come from Judge Roosevelt Wade. In this case, I'm not saying in any other case. I'm saying in this particular case, expect any decision from Roosevelt Wade until he starts to prove his independence in the matter. But until then, expect anything from him. Okay, so let's move on to more of this. Yeah, okay. More of this. So let me play you this recording from Samuel Koga. Before I read what is where is it? This is the young man. This is the young man. I'm trying to get the political leader. I mean the political officer in Koga's office. He wrote a piece today. Before I play that recording, I want to get the okay. Hope I did screenshot. Yes, I think so. This is it. This should be it. Okay. Let me drink some water. So this is what Samuel Koga's political officer posted. Interesting one. He said, under the caption, there has been absolutely no peace settlement between Koga and Kun. Koga's political advisor, Armstrong Govak, writes, He said there has been absolutely no peace settlement between Koga and Kun. Neither has Koga apologized to Kun as insinuated by the Unity Party and the MDR. In a behind closed door meeting, the elders told Koga that he was wrong to have gone public with Kun without an official complaint against Kun to them. And based on tradition, Koga apologized to the elders in that since Kun is the vice president, Koga should follow them. The elder requested that since Kun is the vice president, Koga should follow them to go to Kun's house to judge the case, and Koga categorically rejected it and said that Koga cannot go to Kun's house because he does not trust Kun. Instead, Koga recommended that the both of them should meet on a neutral ground in Nima and not on Kun's farm, nor in Ganta. And it was accepted by the elders, with reservations that Koga should be the one to communicate the change of venue to Kun on telephone, which Koga did by calling Kun. Now, as it stands, the burden is on Kun to set the meeting date and time based on his schedule that will also conform to Koga's schedule. Based on his schedule that will also conforms to Koga's schedule. However, I want to maintain that Koga is clear and uncompromising with his demands. Either Kun takes it or allows Koga to leave. Son, political advisor to Senator Koga. Listen to this recording.
His boss. Where are we right now with your disagreement?
I want to carry away. Let me start it over.
I cannot comment on that specific. On grounds that I remain where I am. Where are you? I'm staying where I'm staying. Where are you? I am somewhere going with Koga, the senator of Nima County. In terms of politics, where are you? I'm a member of the NDR. Are you of the Unity Party? Are you of the Unity Party? When you say you wait, what's the Unity Party? When you say supporting them? Of course. Until they reach the second decision, they will realize that the reason for which we supported them is not forthcoming. We can back off. Was your support at the level of the unit of the NDR, was it legal? I heard you talking about it was not illegal. Why are you trying to... No. When I was talking about legality, a legal framework has to do with documentation that you have. Memorandum of understanding by and between a group to ensure that they become one body politic. That was not done. So when you hold the Unity Party or the rescue mission back, says there was no document. There was no document. And I get me a friendship. I say I found a woman. I say I like the woman. The woman must have friendly. If I find out that the woman, the friendship that the kind of friendship I need for, I'm not seeing it, I'll go and get it free. No money. Yeah, so thank you very much. So you can't take the comment using the country so that the work for to help the issue, this is a very, very, very critical issue. You listen, this is social corporate fundings, social development. The money that is then provided by ArcelorMittal as a loop exclusively for Nima County. Nima people should. In terms of what? In terms of infrastructure development. The infrastructure, if you go to all the government facilities, they are building them with fabulous design.
Okay, so much of that. So I wanted to hear the portion where he said 2029, he's not going to support the Unity Party in 2029. He said he'll be neutral in 2029 politics because he doesn't want to deal with any political stress. Okay, so this early he has said he's going to be neutral. Now, let me say this to you. Now, tie in the Joe Braga thing. There's a reason why I carefully selected this quote from Mao Zedong. He said, politics is war, W-A-R. Politics is war without bloodshed. The length that the UP win in 2023 was not politics. That was not politics, because people lost their lives in broad daylight in the face of Joseph Boakai. They were prepared to destroy an entire family. They were prepared to destroy an entire country only because they wanted power. That's not politics. Mao Zedong says politics is war without bloodshed, while war is politics with bloodshed. So what we saw in 2023 was a complete war. It was not politics. It was war. Joe Boakai presided over a political class, a political system that declared war on the people, that declared war on our country. That's the system he presided over. Today, I see Joe Boakai complaining that people cursing. General Bonneke, along with the EFF, took people to Lofa County in his own county where he came from, and arrested seditious and tied them and detained them. They were wearing red t-shirts and with their heads tied with black trousers in his Lofa County. In Joe Boakai's Lofa, his supporters formed their own group called the Lofa Defense something. And they were interviewed and said they formed themselves to defend Lofa County. That was war. It was an act of war. In the very Lofa, Joe Boakai Tamamomo was beaten on camera with stick. He was stoned to death. He died. His dead body was lying in Lofa. They took sticks and still beating him. For this very Tomo found out today, all criminal. That was not politics. Mao Zedong say that's not politics. That was war, Joe Boakai. Are you talking about cursing today? That Joe Boakai today angry that people are insulting? Joe Boakai is angry that people are insulting. Joe Boakai took Yeke Koliba to Lofa. The very Tomo Fala who here Tomo Fala romancing today in bed. Joe Boakai who is romancing Tomo Fala in bed today, two of them sleeping in the same bed in deep romance. This is the very Thomas Fala that was being insulted in Lofa right in the presence of Joe Boakai, and he was laughing. It was funny to him. Prophet King insulted all the females in this country and came to Liberia and campaigned for Joe Boakai and met Joe Boakai. He went back after the election. Boakai was inaugurated as president, even though he fainted, the program did not end. Boakai brought that prophet back in the executive mansion and hosted him in the executive mansion after insulting decent people, after insulting people's wives, people's sisters, people's daughters, people's mothers in this country. Joe Boakai hosted that man in the executive mansion. His vice president hosted him in the legislature. They desecrated all the places. That today, they rusty men coming tell all about you it's so bad and not good to cause. But Joe, I mean there's something. If some of us did not come from home, trust me, check for this statement. We're going to let you every day. I swear to God. The fact that you will go in the open to complain about people insulting. If some of us did not come from home, we were going to let you every day. Because now you know that letting causing a hair. That's why Eddie used the words she used on you and your people. That's the main reason why Baga is angry. And you say you should not listen to the radio. How you gonna know people can cause? We told you, right? We told you that we will compel Joe Baga to start listening to radio. How Baga got to know people can cause? Because they play any interviews with him. Baga is aware that all those expressions that were unleashed by former President Serif were directed at him. He pulled his poor leadership style, his lack of willingness to reconcile the country, his intentional actions that he's taking to divide the country. He's aware that those expressions, those adjectives that Eddie used were directly targeting him. They were for him. That's why he coming outside now to say people can be insulting. For getting to know that he used people to insult other leaders. He clapped yesterday when people were insulting people's parents. Me, I will not cause Joe Baga, but I will support anybody who will decide to cause Joe Baga. Me, I will not insult Joe Baga, but I will support anybody. I will not have issue with anybody who will decide to insult Joe Baga, because that's the standard he set. That's the standard they established during the campaign, that we're supposed to kill each other because we want to be president. We are supposed to insult people's mothers and people's sisters and people's wives because we want to be president. That's the standard Joe Baga set. That's the standard he embraced. Today, he wants to discourage people from insulting. What is even funny is that they see Joe Baga, Deputy Minister for Public Affairs, was just 2-3 days ago insulting a senator. Insulting a senator, using the government's platform and insulting a senator. Joe Baga didn't hear that one. The Minister of Information did not hear that. The Presidential Press Secretary did not hear that. Then they sat there, the old men go say that thing. Then they themselves started sharing his quotation. For getting to know that they have people who are still insulting other people around here because they disagreed with the government and the president. Now they are having issue. When Baga was asked in 2023 about Yeke's insult against George Weah, the former vice president then Joe Baga said it was we are in a democratic space. A speech in this country should be no offense, should not be offensive. And Baga made reference to the KAK Act that the very George Weah passed in 2018, and said Yeke was covered by the laws to speak in any manner he feels comfortable to. Today, the very Joe Baga man wants to come lecture us about insult. If anybody is supposed to be lecturing us about insult there, it can be Joe Baga. It will never be Joe Baga. He doesn't have the moral rectitude. He doesn't have it to talk, to frown against people insulting leaders. Go on social media, see how his officials, his junior officials, are insulting citizens every day, insulting George Weah every day. He's the one talking about people insulting. Are there screenshots of government officials, junior officials, in the condescending manners you see them address George Weah? They say that politics. When you talk to Joe Biden like that, they say they make it be your grandpa. You talk to George Weah, they say, oh, man, you're man. And a colleague posted the other day, and I support that post. It was funny, but it was serious. Since you guys have reduced the discourse now to insulting, as soon as somebody disagree with you, they just start insulting. You curse my man, I curse your man. You curse my pa, I curse your pa. You curse my Kennedy, I curse your Kennedy. That's how you want our politics to be? No, some of us are too decent to stoop that low. We have to elevate the debate on the performance of the government and even the performance of the opposition people. Because the opposition people are making decisions too. So yes, we have to stick to the decisions that the opposition folks are making, the decision, the performance of the government people. We have to sanitize our politics. When President Sharif said our politics is so terrible, this is exactly what she was talking about. Yeah, Joe Biden not complaining, they insulting. He even go 2 years to bear insult. He's complaining. George Weah bore it for 6 years. George Weah bore insult in this country for 6 years. His wife overbore insult in this country for 6 years. She was insulted in this country for 6 years. We have never publicly complained one day that today Joe Biden won't be complaining. You will see nothing in Joe Biden. Look, there will be more people coming up publicly to start insulting you just because you made that statement. You should have corrected it then. You should have corrected it then. Even now, as I speak, he get one prophet stay insulting people, insulting women. When that prophet comes to Liberia, he goes to the executive mansion and he's unveiled at the executive mansion. He's honored at the executive mansion. He goes back to do a show. He continues his insult against women who. And the president is complaining about insult. Yeah, I'm serious. Anybody insult Joe Biden, I get problem with it. Hedino Wilson, James Woloba, Jerry Jabo, Khalifa, Kaifa Sharif, Johnson, Khan, Estelle, Giblis, Samuel Hollywood. Welcome all of you. Phoenicius Junior Bar, welcome all of you to the show. So nobody, I don't have issue with anybody insulting Joe Biden. I can decide I'm not doing it. But I do not have any issue with anybody insulting Joe Biden. Joe Biden has created a platform. Joe Biden has set a standard. That's why our politics demand that you must insult leaders. He supported that. So I'm not going to have any issue with anybody who would choose to insult Joe Biden. I can say, Austin Kawa, I am not going to insult him, but I'm going to use adjectives, strong adjectives on him that will pin him. I believe that Joe Biden is reckless. I believe that he's a careless old man, a don't care man. And I believe that he's extremely corrupt and selfish. And I believe that Biden is going to offer this country nothing useful. His leadership is useless. His government is useless. His government has nothing useful, meaningful to offer this country. I believe that. But should I insult him? No. Do all people find comfort in insulting him? That's their business. Do I hold them responsible for insulting him? No way. Do I have issue with other people insulting Joe Biden? Never will I have issue with people insulting Joe Biden, because Biden himself encouraged people insulting leaders in this country, and he was laughing. That's how people tell me, oh, the man is an elderly man, he got wisdom. I said, no. He's old. He's an elderly man. Correct. But wisdom? No, he doesn't have. No elderly man with wisdom at 79, 80 years old will go to a campaign rally and see a leader denigrate another leader in his presence and he laughs about it. And we say it's politics? No, that's not politics. That's not politics. That's not politics. So you're listening to your finance minister, Gafan, right? Gafan made me shame. I shouldn't lie to you. You know I'm always here talking about Gafan having, yeah, you might not be 100%, but you're having small. I can say tiny, right? A tiny repetition he has to protect it, right? Yes, I'm always saying that. But I'm disappointed. Look, I'm disappointed in Gafan to go to the public with that kind of repetition and start justifying misappropriation or reckless management at the Ministry of Finance. I'm disappointed in government. No, he went too low. But you see, to govern is difficult. When you're not there, you read all of the policy paper against the government. You proffer all of the analysis against the government. When you are given the opportunity to serve, then you start to do something else. And then you start to do something else. Listen to the gaffer that all of you know. Listen to him. Listen to the gaffer that all of you know. Let me play the one on UL first, where the man justifying off-budget spending. Then we'll go to the one he's talking about the 2.8 million documentation that cannot be formed by GSC. Listen to cover on UL spending.
Government workers, more than 28,000 workers in this year's budget. You know, the pay of people were cut off, whether the police, the army, and others. In fact, the police was police officers
They didn't lie
were being
for it. Yeah, they lied for it to
pay for their insurance. In this year's budget, we said no police officer will pay their own insurance. And relax. Government workers, more than 28,000 workers in this year's budget. You know, the pay of people were cut off, whether the police, the army, and others. In fact, the police was police officers were being made to pay for their insurance. In this year's budget, we said no police officer will pay their own insurance. And relax. Government workers, more than 28,000 workers in this year's budget. You know, the pay of people were cut off, whether the police, the army, and others. In fact, the police.
These are the people who argue that harmonization was wrong. They have now reversed the harmonization. And they are topping up civil servant salaries. Adding $3, $5, $8, $7. When you can cancel the harmonization and return everybody to pre-harmonization era. Since it was wrong under George Weah. And this is the conversation that civil servants are supposed to be having. The people criticize harmonization. They said it was wrong. They came to power. They have not abolished harmonization. They are instead working with the harmonization policy and then telling you they top up. You top up how much? Who are the beneficiaries? No civil servant can come out and say, yes, my salary was increased. I will open the telephone lines for you, police people, officer, police, security people. Government said your salaries were top up in this budget year. So he's telling us that 2024, the entire 2024, there was no increment in the security sector budget. That this year, according to him, they top up. Top up. When you hear financial people using top up and they're not using increase, there's a reason for that. Meaning that it's turning. They post small thing there. They post small thing there. They add a small thing there. That's why he's afraid to use increment. He's telling you they were top up.
More than almost.
Then they were top up. So ask the hard questions. They were top up from where to where? What is the exact increment to their salaries? Is it $5, $10? Is it in categories? But the people interviewing the man, they were happy interviewing finance minister. So they could not ask him these hard questions. When some of us had opportunities to sit on ERBC to interview Simon Twe, I was supporting CVC and still asking Twe the hard questions. And the UP folks celebrated us on social media after my interview with Twe. As a supporter of the CDC, we were sitting on ERBC, we were still asking Twe the hard questions. Where are the UP folks? You sit on a platform with the Minister of Finance that is supposed to be addressing issues that border on the livelihoods of the people, and you go romance him. They may tell you, you see, this is not adding confused. He's not
government workers, more than almost.
Listen,
the pay of these people were cut off. Whether the police, the army, and others. Government workers, more than 28,000 workers in this year's budget.
The man, listen to him, you know he's lying. We'll bring all these facts beginning tomorrow. Yes, more than 28,000 workers, government workers. We want the government workers to call us and tell us that this year their salaries were increased by GAFAN. We want them to call. I know people in the police is still struggling. And GAFAN here bragging that 28,000 persons salaries were top up. No, GAFAN, don't top up the salaries. Return your payroll, your fiscal regime. Return your fiscal regime to pre-harmonization era. Let the government employees start making the same money they were making before harmonization. That's what GAFAN should be doing. Since it was bad, it was a bad policy. What is stopping these geniuses from returning our fiscal regime to pre-harmonization era? What is stopping them? This is the question that civil servants should be asking the UP folks. Don't go and fantasize the people about 28,000 people being top up. No, don't top it up. Cancel, abolish harmonization and pay them the money they were making, the salaries they were getting before the harmonization period. You came to rescue. You criticized a policy that was bad. Today is good and you top it up. This is the
pay of people were cut off, whether the police, the army, and others.
You come in,
the police was police officers were being made to pay for their insurance.
Yeah,
this year's budget, we said no police officer will pay that.
Even though that lie, but he's indicting Gregory Como. Eh? Now, what politics in Gavin model talking? Listen to the thing the men talking here, finance minister talking.
For their insurance.
Listen.
Police officers were being made to pay for their insurance. Police officers.
Listen.
In fact, the police was police officers were being made to pay for their insurance. In this year's budget, he said no police officer.
Did you hear your Minister of Finance? The man said the last year budget, that's UP budget, in the last year budget, honor UP, the police officers were being made to pay for their own insurance. The police has to clarify the 1 year. It's on them. When we broke this news, the police issued a press statement. Turn me our news as a lie. They said we lied. The information was untrue. police officers reached out to us last year and said the class I'll get the class name. They were not on payroll the whole of last year, 2024. They didn't take pay, but they were giving permanent assignment. They were giving employment letter, and they didn't pay them. They also said that they were being made by the police. They were being made to pay for their own insurance. The police asked them to pay for their own insurance last year. When we broke that news, the government denied it. The police said it was lie. Then your government here confirm you. Government is admitting that under Joe Biden in 2024 budget, the police were being made to pay for their own insurance. Yeah. I don't go tell Daniel Yakuna to post it in you.
Government workers, more than 28,000 workers in.
How can I be doing PR for you? Then I post that kind of video. In that video too, class 46, thank you. Class 46. Class 46 guys complained that since they graduated, they were working, they had permanent assignment, they were giving employment letter, they did not take pay for the whole of last year. Even this year, it was in the second quarter of the budget year before they started issuing them, started taking a particular to open bank account for them to start paying them. And that while that was ongoing, police officers were being made to pay for their own insurance under Joe Barker, under the police current IG. The police denied that information. Kafan is confirming the information tonight. Kafan, then you guess what? He owns that communication man posted it. I don't know whether he listened to this recording good or how did he understand whether he understood what Kafan was saying. The man is indicting the police IG. But not just the police IG. Kafan is indicting himself. Because the police IG does not go looking for money anywhere to go pay for insurance. All they have to do, put it in the budget, send it to the Finance Ministry, Budget Bureau, Budget Department. They conclude the draft budget and send it to the legislature to pass. So if it goes to the legislature and the legislature extract insurance from there, what do they do? So the police say, you know what I mean? Oh, man, you gotta take care of your own insurance until the government can approve your insurance. That a government can tell you, say, the police men were being made to pay for their own insurance. The police people deny, but all the police officers confirm that are true. The people say they didn't get money, we should pay for our insurance, they will reimburse us. Or it will pick up in the coming budget year. That's what they say. So government beginning news here. There's no progress. Is that he didn't do anything. It was already a showcase and assurance was given to the police officers. That okay, we'll break your manager. Yeah. Next year we'll put your insurance in the budget. So government won't brag about it. You see, government does not want to take responsibility for the actions under Bwema Kamara. The 2.8 million, he said, that now he was finance minister. The insurance decision that was reached under Bwema Kamara and Gregory Komone, he's taking responsibility for it. He's taking responsibility for it. As if to say it is his decision. So the bad things are finance, they're not Gafan. The good things are finance, they're Gafan. You see how people can be deceptive? Gafan is telling us he was not at the Ministry of Finance when the audit was conducted in 2024. We agree. So that Bwema Kamara and Gobu should answer for it. When it comes to the very decision that was reached about insurance to put the insurance for the police in the budget, this decision was reached last year when he was not at the ministry. But he's taking responsibility for it. He's taking the glory for the good things and rejecting or scapegoating the bad ones. Gafan, he's a clean one. He should always be clean. He always wants to play clean. He clean character. That Bwema Kamara, a nasty character, meaning 2.8 million unaccounted for. Gafan said, I was not there. Insurance money approved last year. Decision reached between the Ministry of Finance last year and the police. to put the money in the budget this year, and the lawmakers to put the money in the budget this year. They put the money there, Gavin said that him. Last year decision that was made, Gavin said that he didn't want. And the police folks, these people have to come out to speak, including the legislature. Because what Gavin is doing, he's trying to push some of you people under the mud. For you, the police IG, the role you play, the effort you made to change the Ministry of Finance folks since last year to settle police insurance. Gavin taking the blame and he pushing you under the boss and taking the glory. That is a decision. You the lawmakers, when I used to see the police authority running the Capitol building back and forth on your ways and means people. Now, the small glory that Capitol building people lawmakers supposed to take by putting police insurance in the budget, Gavin taking the glory onto himself. He celebrated on ERBC without giving credit to the rule. This is an inherited policy. This is an inherited decision. Gavin did not make the decision. Gavin did not suggest the decision. Gavin did not even participate in the discussions that led to the government putting insurance in the budget for the police. Gavin had no role to play. No physical role, no practical role. He had nothing to do. He's taking the glory today. They want, he can own it. This one, he can associate, he can affiliate with it. But the 2.8 million that cannot be accounted for, Gavin say, my hand not there. Yeah? Gavin say, my hand not there. Gavin say, he ain't there. But folks, let's be frank. Let's be frank here. If an action took place in 2024 and you say your hand not there, you got nothing to do with it, you were not there when the action was taken, the order represents 2024, you were not there, so you should not be responsible for it. Okay, let's agree for the sake of the argument you were not there. So it means we should also agree the reasoning is everything that happened in 2024 and at the time Gavin was not at the Ministry of Finance, whether good or bad, he should not take the glory or the responsibility. But you can say when it comes to the ministry not accounting for $2.8 million, you can't take responsibility. It is not you. But a decision that was reached when you were not even at the Ministry of Finance to put insurance in the budget for police, now you are claiming that all of glory. God, that doesn't make sense. I mean, that's single offensive. Yeah. Listen to Gavin all recording on you.
Government workers, almost more than 28,000, almost more than 28,000 workers in this year's budget. You know, the pay of people.
BP of equal.
Police officers were being made to pay for their insurance. In this year's budget, we said no police officer will pay their own insurance. And relax. Government workers, more than 20 insurance. In this year's budget, we said no police officer will pay their own insurance. And relax.
Go ahead. We didn't ask you, Gavin, we know that. Let's go to Gavin recording. You know, listen to him.
Area of distinction.
The
payments, the total stuff, the circle.
Listen to him. He Philip Carvey is good. You know he's a poet. He's good at carving phrases and words to appease his arrogance. Because they're not us. Yeah? Listen to him. You care about it.
Besides documentation issue. If I started clarifying it, payment without legislative approval in excess of budget is another 2.8. You know, this only came with 2.8. without. That's the very thing I was saying. Off budget without legislative approval. Now, let's compare. Let's do some comparison here.
Yeah, the means about to compare stealing. Who stole big? Who stole small? That's what Gav is doing. Who stole big? Who stole small? Payment of comparison. Who stole big? Who stole small? That's the main logic. This is the main only justification. They compare. Let's listen to Gafan's comparison. Listen.
This year's report, or last year's report, was qualified, meaning it was good, but there were one or two exceptions that the auditor said we should work on. Last year's report, meaning
2024 audit report say it was qualified or good, but there are excesses that it should work on. Excesses include failure to account, no document to prove how you spend 2.8 million of the Liberian people money. No document to prove how you spend 2.8 million US dollars of the Liberian people's money. That part of the excesses Kafan talking about here for last year audit report. Let's go to review his comparison about 2023.
2023 was average. The Auditor General said it was bad.
It was bad.
This issue about documentation.
So 2024 report, 2.8 million missing or accounted for. Kafan said good. He rationalized it. He's comparing it to 2023. 2.8 million unaccounted for. And the manner in which it was unaccounted for, it was terrible. Then they found a Kafan point. Let's go for
But then they find in this year report 2.8. In 2023, they identified $4.27 million.
4.27 million.
As
2.8.
They said, I think they use a harsher word. They said lack of. They didn't say problem with adequate documentation. Lack of documentation.
Yeah.
That's what they said. And then, so if you ascribe thievery to 2.8, are you saying by extension of the logic that the people that headed they stole 4.27 million?
No, Gav, don't buy the sentiments of the people. That's what you all said. When the audit came out, Gav claim was inadequate documentation. The auditor say inadequate documentation from Gav from the UP to account for 2.8. The auditor's choice of words under the CDC was lack of documents, lack of adequate documentation. It's just choice of words. Inadequate documentation and lack of adequate documentation. What's the difference? That the Minister of Finance trying to play with words here. Because under CDC, the GAC said lack of documentation. Under UP, the GAC said inadequate documentation. Lack of documentation, inadequate documentation. It has the same meaning. It means you could not provide documentation to prove spending. You could not provide documentation to prove how you spend the money. CDC government, they could not provide documentation to prove how they spend 4.27 million. UP government, they see the Liberian people voted CDC out because they could not provide document to prove how they spend 4.2 million. They put UP there. Someone UP come there. They put UP there to come there and provide document to prove how they spend $5. How they spend every 5 cents that they spend. They put UP there to come and provide documentations proving how the UP spend every 5 cents or every cent that leaves government's covers. Kafia is saying we should do comparison. UP did not spend. CDC spent 4.27 million without documentation, according to GAC. For the they spend 2.8 million without adequate documentation. What is that? What does that mean, Gav? I don't know whether he's an accountant, but I know that he's an economist. He knows the difference between lack of documentation and inadequate documentation. What is the documentation that Gav provided for the 2.8? A chain of spending money. The chain is there. You're supposed to spend 10 million. All of the 10 million, you spend the first 2 million. Proper documentation. The banana aid, you spend 3 million. Documented the proof. On the particular project now, the banana, you have spent already 5 million, right? The banana 5, you spend 2 million. Documented the proof. Balance 3 million. The balance 3 million, you take off 200,000. They got 200,000. You spend a documentation there to prove, right? That balance 2.8, right? The 2.8 you can't prove. No documentation to show how you spend. That one the auditor said inadequate documentation. That the thing come from rallying on. He said because you see this CDC down, the auditor said no documentation or lack of documentation. So let's agreed. Let's hold that as an argument for accountability. We hold it. The CDC down, the auditors found that they had 10 million to spend on Jamaica Road. They spend the money, but there is no document to show how they spend the 10 million. On the CDC. They spend the money, but no document to show how they spend the money. On the government, on the UP town, all the 10 million, they spend 7.2 million. They spend 7.2 million. According to that one you say, they spend 7.2 million. They spend 7.2 million. All of the 10 million. CDC had 10 million for road. CDC spent the 10 million, but no documentation to prove how they spend the money. UP had the same 10 million. UP spent 7.2 million with documentation to show how they spend 7.2, but the remaining 2.8, no document to show how UP spend it. That got found recently like a comparison. So in his wisdom, he good, CDC bad. But he's not considering that monies were misapplied. Do you know what 2.8 million can do? Besides that, you say CDC government was corrupt. The people believe you. They fall for your rhetorics. And they voted CDC out and voted UP in. They did not think that UP will come to power and start justifying and rationalizing stealing. Governor, the UP government is not supposed to spend 1 cent without proper documentation because it was wrong under the CDC. You criticize it, you chastise the CDC, you run around, you use it as propaganda. The people bought your propaganda. They elected you to come and change the system. When you come to power, you are supposed to correct it. Instead of rationalizing or justifying or drawing comparison, lazy comparison that does not even make sense. You can't do that. You can't do that. And that your PR people posting these videos. Your own setting it on. They're the ones posting it. You can't be justifying or rationalizing stealing. The government officials will steal from you and they will say, no, but my own I just 1 million. Any people stole 5 million, I mean I just 1 million. What kind of illiteracy is that? What kind of illiteracy, what kind of illiterate thinking is that? That a man like Gafwan at Gafwan's level, former finance minister, former student leader, former foreign affairs minister, former country manager for the World Bank. You come here, imagine Gafwan, your deputy is giving you such a justification. And you want him dismissed. You able to read that thing you can find that thing you talking. You able to read that thing and submit it to the World Bank or or you go to the spring meeting and submit this explanation at the spring meeting as country manager or country director for World Bank in Uganda. You able to mismanage money and you read that narrative in your report and go submit it at the Springs meeting as a country manager or country director for World Bank. Kafan can never do that to the World Bank. And the World Bank people, they're here. The IMF people, they're here. It's good that they listen to these justifications. They see they know how Liberians can be illiterate in the thinking. They know how Liberians can be brave in justifying wrong. The CDC mismanaged $4.27 million US without proper used 4.27 million without proper documentation or without documentation. Kafan, you are not supposed to use 1 cent without documentation. That's the reasoning there. That's the reasoning. You are not supposed to use it. Nobody is right here. Nobody is right. How we stealing from the country and we justifying big stealing and small stealing, big road and small road. The same thing we do. If that a layman was going to be engaged in the thing, they call him criminal, they call him roll. Thief, roll. When it happens at the presidential appointment level, then they say, oh my man, that small crime. We get big in our country, we get big crime, small crime. Big criminal, small criminal. You can do that. Gav, you need to sit down and listen to your interview again. That's how I want to close. Kafan, you need to sit down and listen to that interview. There are too many lazy justifications, too illiterate reasonings, that came from you. That for me, I did not even think that Gav will be providing such a series of lazy reasonings. It says he's rationalizing wrongdoings. Even if you did not do it, you can't be justifying or rationalizing. It is wrong. It is wrong. Samuel spent 4.27 million without document, and you spend 2.8 million without adequate document. It makes you no sin than 12. It makes it no better than 12. We are not supposed to spend money and can't account for the money. When you spend money without documentation, it does not mean you stole the money or you ate the money. No. It's possible they gave you 1 million to go and buy a car. You went. You actually bought a car. But you not request document. You need the document from the person you come with your car. Our fiscal rule say that's indiscipline. We're supposed to account on the record for every cent that government spends. Yes. Proof of payments. Payment request. Verification document for IAA people. Finance people. They do different verifications. Invoice is generated. Suppose 3 invoices for 3 different vendors, and the government will always go for the lowest cost for the service or for the goods. The check is raised. The check passes through the same screening before it is signed and issued. When you issue that check, the vendor is supposed to issue receipt. Then proof of delivery. When the service is performed, the goods is delivered. Delivery note is supposed to accompany delivery note. It's clear. So these are the documentations that the auditors will go look for when they go to audit you. When these documents are not available, they will ask you some questions to do. They will do some. In some cases, the auditors will do physical verification. You say you bought a car. Yeah, let's see the car. How much for the car? Let's see the car. Okay, we see the car. All right. When you bought the car, Toyota garage. Okay, we'll go into the Toyota garage. How much for a Toyota Halo pickup? Double cabin. They say $35,000. Okay. The auditors were able to do physical verification to establish that the money was actually spent for the intended purpose. But there are no documentations to prove that you made payment to the vendor, which is wrong. That's grave. That's financial indiscipline. It is a violation of our PPCC law. So Gagati talking, because 2LM could not account for 4.27 million does not mean the money was not spent or used for the intended purpose. That's what the auditor will say. They will decide what they want to tell you. Your case, because 2.8 million cannot be, there's no adequate document to account for 2.8 million out of 10 million does not necessarily mean, or may not necessarily mean, you ate the money. It could mean some careless people just stand there and then they didn't pay attention to details. So because of that, they could not have access to the documentation, or they didn't follow the procurement process. Because they have followed the procurement process, obviously, every step by the way, you have document in your possession. Or maybe somebody, that because that paper they play with now, so somebody just took the whole paper, processed everything, put it in a bag, forgot, and when we lost it. Or misplaced it in the office and can't find it. It does not necessarily mean theft took place. But CDC time, it was thievery. Your time, they say it does not mean, it can mean thievery. Gav, some of you guys experience, well, yes, we understand that, we respect that. But Liberians are not stupid, and some of us are not stupid. Some of us can think. We're critical thinkers. So that not anything can convince us. That not anything can convince us. Musa Brown, Moses Henry, all of you, welcome. Christina, Christian Sagbe, welcome all of you. Fiana's Wokies, Ma, welcome all of you. What you need? Say Fiana's Wokies, Ma, yeah, welcome to the show. That one get problem. I don't have problem with that, Fiana's. Welcome to the show. Yeah, welcome to the show. I don't have problem with you with that. You're welcome to do that. It is a right to do that. But all of you, welcome to the show. Evelyn, Degondite, welcome. James, Kelly, welcome to the show. All of you, it's time to take calls. 0776 104 104 0886 086 500 104. Those are the numbers to call to join the show. We'll take just few calls, maybe 7 calls, and then go home because our time is already up. So 0776 104 104 0886 500 104 are the numbers to call and join the show. Let me see what the performance looks like on the gave away for those of you who were playing. While we take calls on the different, let me see. Okay, let me just. So we'll take just few calls and then we'll go home. So the numbers to call us now is 0886 500 104 104 0776 104 104. Good evening to you. Let's hear you. You're live. Go ahead. You are live on the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Josephine Silla calling from Kanye.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for the topic of the night. Actually, I don't have much to say. So, I don't know what there is to say. I'm just listening to it. I'm just telling you, I think it's for more education. But we don't have viewers here. Because again, some of us will get to understand what really is going on. But I don't have much to say, so I just think.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Let's hear somebody else. Good evening to you. Go ahead.
Hello, we are. They talking about court. Not anybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next person.
Huh?
Good evening. You're live. Let's hear you.
Good evening. I'm Edward. I'm calling from Grand Pastor.
Okay.
Thank you for the show and thank you for the engagement. We follow relentlessly. As us, we know that the person making on the matter of forest registration law. We are not surprised from this ongoing current in government. So I just want to urge you to keep and you are the right to do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much from Grand Bassa. Next person, go ahead. Good evening to you. Let's hear you.
Thank you. This is the board of Iladan Mubuna, like the conversation from case number 6, most Rado candidate hearing. And thank you for always speaking to the issues. Thank you for your bravery. And what do you do to...
Hello? Oh, okay. I think somebody pushed that person off. Let's hear you. Let's hear you.
I'll say this is GT. I'm calling from Canada. Thank you very much for having me on the show. I want to say hello to the Liberian people. And thank you today, as usual, always on this program. You do very well. I like how you present the topic. So I follow the program today, and today also, I was very ashamed for that for Austin. You know, also when you know somebody, then the person lie and the person say, we can pay here and here. We can feed.
Yeah.
I was feeding today. Yeah. Also, you know, I made something to, D2 is a guy when you talking, put your head or you trying to show picture and trying to do the thing. If you already know what you're talking about, you try to picture the thing. But today, I was ashamed, man. Look, just imagine the police. The police on no, or how they can call it, payroll. They put police on no insurance, nothing. The day, remember the day when they put window, that CDC party headquarters when they had that incident where the speaker went there and stopped and that whole thing went out there.
Yes.
Eh? The next day, that whole crew and the police, all of them went to that Mika press thing there. They were there talking about how the poor police, the payroll, how they do all type of thing there. They said all those things there, but it's not there. People police no pay, no insurance, they not pay insurance. I used to be class 1 member of Labrador National Police. They never put police on any insurance. All police take care of their own thing. The money that is what we making, you be living that money, you be managing that money, you be doing anything. Any police you see doing anything outside, doing other people beating, they doing something outside. Different from when the police were. So how they doing that thing. But the real police, you know them.
Oh, yeah.
They just like the poor police now. But you know what? Like you mentioned, he pull or the police director, he should put finger to him. He put him on the point. So insurance money, all of them, they're packing it somewhere. If they're taking that money from there to put it somewhere, they're putting it somewhere to take it. At the end of the day, we'll follow it.
Yes. Tomorrow, man, trust me, tomorrow will be an update. Tomorrow will be an update for that police insurance thing.
Man, then so they can know it. We leave here today, I'll call all that video, we'll make everything, we'll prepare, send it up. No.
Very well. Thank you. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Good evening, Austin. How are you?
I'm okay.
This is one guitar member of the Solar Movement. I want to commend you for your show. And I always follow you sometimes and I call. But I really admire you as a group and really discussing the issue in the interest of young people. You know, today, when I listened to the finance minister, he was saying that send the government into power. It will not no longer care push around. But you know, this day is a online world everybody living. So when the folks are putting they push that care water to the city center to Ranoski area there on the south, showing all those things on Facebook. If Kafan was really educated person who trusts in education, you're going to resign today because you lie. And even the besoin qu'il est contre la président Joseph Mabaka est point to get, to watch how government officials behave in the country also. They are not monitoring. The way was speaking today, the politician, the opposition see that the no propaganda, more than opposition. So you try to tell me today, Senator, you are a politician, you are not afford the economy like this. Today the rate, you go, you see the rate, instead of the rate, 199, you go in the market 150. No understanding about issue here for us. Well, thank you very much for you to discuss it.
Thank you. Go ahead. Let's take this call from where? Is it Canada or the US? From the US, let's hear you. Tamuza?
How you doing, man? Yeah, brother, Austin.
I'm okay.
First of all, let me say thank you for the talking point. I just want to register something to Gafon. I don't know what's wrong with happening to Gafon. Since Gafon left Project Bureau as director, and then they brought him to finance ministry. He has just been failed. Even for any time, Gafon failed miserably at the finance ministry. Now, he came back again. So Gafon trying to tell me that when he sent somebody to buy something, the president bring receipt. And the president can say they see the $100 you get believe it.
Yeah.
He will not question. I'm just saying that's the layman way of just saying it. Gafon lied to us today. Gafon lied that there is no more push coming Santa Maria with water. Yeah. So I didn't connect all this. That's a second lie on the belly of the devil. That's what I want to lie. You have the other minister is put take care of me there. Okay, so first you call it in there. You know I want. It's only not in your office. That's a dream. That's what. If somebody did something wrong yesterday and they brought you there, it's to do what? To do the thing wrong or to do it right. And that's the reason why you people quit. That you could bring the change forth. That you go back to this idea. You never go back to the idea that Joseph Walker, when he becomes president, when he goes, his delegation was done more than 5%. When he comes to America, was 63%.
Hey, that's right.
Yeah. He coming, the program will be with the 21st. He's coming to go to Long Island.
The public gotta go chill small, man.
What are we saying?
The public say the country is toxic.
What are we saying?
Ain't no school job will be. The new student can be hard to go to school. The old student can be waiting. The job baby. The people can start but they may want to go chill, so they make a run.
The thing is, when you say it, he sit among his cabinet, and you know, that's the one that can really feel me. The one I say the woman is wicked. Every day I say something. It is a complete witchcraft. Because somebody who don't care to listen to anybody, who think that what they do is law and gospel, that person is a witchcraft. You don't listen to the people cry. When you job in the street, you don't see that nobody cares for him.
Don't waste your time, bro. Don't waste your time. But I ain't get time for that thing. Don't waste your time. Man Sisi, let's leave you there and talk to Man Sisi. Man Sisi, you are always our last caller, so go ahead.
Yes, if I will be the first and the last caller, right? Thank you. Austin, how was your weekend, my son?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah. No, the past government was the book of life government. We have in life, but the other government that the book of health. The book of health. But we are going with the book of life. The two going to the government, the book of health, and we feed it up. You get one final military post in this country. That you might say Ghana that will sell water and the carpenter in town But if you rest before your eyes, water parking there in Moa. Mr. Uniform, I said, right before your eyes, when the foreign minister, water parking there in Moa. You don't know what I'm doing on frosty.
I don't know, see, and the main for air condition car, I mean, hosting Provio, you get air condition car, you can't find ministry, and then you can go. The man go nowhere, you get down anybody. Saturday, you go Panama, you go play football. What do you mean, go see water? So, you mean, right? When you have a finance minister that is not familiar with the economy, the simple economic problem challenge that is confronting the people, it tells you that the man is not going to do anything. Imagine the man does not even know, your finance minister does not even know that people are still pushing water.
No, he know that.
So when you make a decision tomorrow in the ministry to increase the budget to water and sewer, you say no, man, everything is okay now.
Yeah, everything okay. What is lying to the people for? What is lying to the people? What is lying to us? Because I know because what we do, the already say we do people, we can call. So I just put my body to power yesterday. Waka, or do you go for the message to us in a bureau? Basically, I didn't know now because it's not for rule. Yesterday, I see verified that you were posting for yesterday, you can't put the local country to court where you were casting for them. You can't put the local country to kill people in local for election results. So they tell you, oh, we reckless. We are very good. We talking too much, and you're coming inside the working. Then you get a lot of money about the against them. Oh, what we know is right or wrong. What we asking, I say, what you're dying, you show you the people see. Why I'm in Mauritania? You see, that's what is in my fire. Then you say, everyone is mad. What is mad breed? What is mad breed? I open the button. So then you can call them to an idea. They're happy. For a gentleman to it, so all I made, they won't help me and show you the power. That's to it. Don't go on like that. Don't go on to this. You for you. And then please show me the power. Then you go away. We go a capua. You are giving a hotel way. I don't pay for a go. I never get it there. I tell you to try it. Get to go and not you say my boss. And not you say my soul of it. When I was doing it, they said, I was going to go. 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 God, there was that. Oh, we're feeling 3 days. But then I'm passing up what I said. What I said, one of our court, they can't finish. When you say, I want to make my children, my mother said, I can't make all to one day. I'm going to make a walk. So they get a sugar, but I said, I'm not able. And that is it. That's what they're suffering us. But I said, they do well. I tell you, the people say, the way it's doing, God says,
thank you.
I was pressing, but the people were not pressing. And they say on the platform, they are who seek my stuff. But so they are all what's on Nigeria.
Oh, but Masi, but I mean, we see issues on our show. We see them on our show. But call, we see your Masi. I agree. We see better. We see better on that happen on the very show you bring on our show. Oh, the ambassador, he didn't be an ambassador to their own bow. He behave undiplomatic. Okay, folks, it's time to go. Thank you to all of you for following the show in the manner you did. We appreciate all of you. Even those of you who didn't like what we say. It was nice having all of you listening to us tonight. We wish you will come back tomorrow as we strive to fix this country for the betterment of our children. Not necessarily ourselves. Until we see tomorrow by God's grace, you have yourselves pleasant moments in your respective areas. Austin Kawa is my name. Baba.